just me and my guitar.
Hey, what's happening guys? Mark back here on Mark's Aquatics. I do apologise for you lovely lot out there who watched my last video about making the oxidator. I completely edited out the part where I put it together. I was just about to go on holiday when I edited that video, as you saw when I was away. So I was in the middle of doing this before I went away. So I was rushing things a bit, never got round to publishing it, and this is how we left it really, wasn't it? So what I've done is I've gone back to the jars that we bought. I thought I'd use that little funky bottom there, make it look a bit nicer, because they're all spice jars, so they'll all fit, they're all the same size. But now what we're going to do, we're going to create that part there of the oxidator. Okay, you can see the catalysts in there. I've got two in that one, so I was going to take one out. I've just put it in there for the time being, and we'll take it out and we'll put it in back into the other one a little bit later on. But we've got to recreate this cap. Now if you look in there, you can see two very tiny pinholes, and that's all it is. And we've got some little hooks around the outside there, that when you push that into there, they grip the inside of this terracotta pot, and then you see it won't fall out. So we've got to recreate that now. So we can stick that to one side, because you know what we've got to recreate. We can put him over there, and I will just readjust the camera now. Right, that's a bit better. Pardon me. Right, what I found to recreate this, if you've got an old takeaway lid like that, stick him to one side. Now your spice jar, I'm not sure whereabouts you are in the world guys, but these things, it just says oven heat. You know, you get these with any old takeaway, Chinese, Indian, stuff like that. Basically it's got to be a food grade plastic, because you've got to have your food in it, so it's going to be safe for you, it's got to be safe for fish and shrimps and all that stuff alike. So it's a nice flexible piece of sheet. Now we've got to cut out a circle. Now it just so happens with this one that I've got, the mould circle in the middle is the exact fit for the spice jar. You want it to be slightly over the top. You don't want it on the inside of the diameter of here, you want it on the outside, because this is going to have to be pushed in. So by pushing it in, it's all it'll all fold up that way and get pushed in, okay, and then grip the sides. So it's pretty lucky like that, but it doesn't matter if you haven't got that mark already made up there. You can also just put it to the side, run a pen round it, or scribe round it, better still, to save any inks or anything like that going onto it, and just scribe round it with something sharp like a needle or something, just to give you a little score in there, and you can cut it out. Right, so I'll just cut that out for you. Right, there you go, I've cut it out, and we've got a nice little disc in the middle there now. Now the other thing we need, remember when I showed you those, it's a little Bangle Kit, which you can buy in any shops. You can pick them up on eBay really cheap, they're about 30 or 40p or something like that, they're under £1. And the stoppers, which is that bit there, fitted perfectly into there, nice and tight. Okay, that's what you want that good tight fit in there, so nothing leaks out. We'll go over the chemistry part about it in a minute, about what happens when you put the stuff in there, when you put the hydrogen peroxide in there. But now what we've got to do, we've got to glue that onto the center of there, okay? But before we do that, we've got to cut out, and we've got to make lots of little stars. We've got to make lots of little legs out of there, okay? Because we don't want it cylindrical, because if you look at that now, that's not going to push into there now like that at all. So by creating like a cog effect, it will thin these up, which will allow them then to go in. So they don't have to be perfect, you can cut them. I put a cut like that first, and then go in on the angle, and then you can go in on the angle again the other side, and you can just remove that piece. Now you want to do that all the way around. Okay guys, now we've cut it all out, we got a shape like that. Now what we've got to do, because this is slippery, and obviously that's glass, so that's slippery as well, so that's just going to move around and it's not going to be very good and secure in there at all. Now what I've done is I cut a little piece of airline like that, cut it that way, and then what you do is drop it on the floor. You've got to open it up and you can put it on there on the end like that, okay? But what I do, you can use super glue for that. Put some super glue in there, obviously mine in the old fingers, and pinch it shut until you stick it on there. But I'm just going to use my hot glue gun for this purpose. You put a little blob of hot glue inside, and then you just squeeze that and hold it for a couple of seconds. You can trim off the bits of glue later on, alright, because that'll tidy it all up, any of the little strings that pop off, and then you've got that effect. Now that will stick, that will now stick to the side. Now I've done the other one, obviously I've speeded things up for you guys, so I've put, there's bits now all the way around, you see, little bits of airline stuck all the way around. And then when you push that, put it on the top, you might have to trim these little legs off on the outsides, because you want it to just go in and then obviously push in and let it grip the base like that. Now because the bottom of these are concaved, they're not going to fit tight on the bottom. You're going to have those gaps underneath, you see. So when we put our holes, we're going to put our holes in our lid right on the outside there, one there, obviously so it corresponds with the inside. And so when that's on there then, like so, in fact I'll take it out and I'll do it and then we can put it back in. It might be easier for me to, I'm just prizing that out with the scissors at the moment because I've got nothing to grab hold of it. But what we're going to do now, I'm going to hot glue gun that onto the surface of that, making sure it's nicely in the middle. I'm just going to grab my glue gun a minute. I'll put some hot glue. You want to hot glue it on the inside. You've got to be careful because these are quite thick. You just want to glue it on the inside so it can come through. You can push your hot, I'll show you in a minute what we're going to do with a hot needle, alright? You don't want tons of this stuff on here, you just want a thin bead. And as quick as you can, touch it, centralise it. And give it a good press together. You got a bit of a over squeeze there, which is no trouble at all, and then you end up with that effect like that, okay? Now you got to let that really fully go off, so I'm just going to pause you and go whack the kettle on, and then when we come back that should be nice and dry, and then we can do the hot needle part, okay? Alright guys, there we go, it's all gone off nice and solid now. And now that fits in there nice, pops in there, so we got that effect there, and then that pops in the top like that, see? And then you hang it upside down, it's not going to fall out, but we've still got the gaps, underneath. But what we've got to do now is put in 2 very small pinholes into the base. So we'll just take that out of there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fire up a candle. Right, we've got the old candle fired up now. Now what we've got to do is have some coffee. If you're new to the channel, check it out. If you like these little videos, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for up and coming videos, guys, okay? Right, got a needle and a pair of grips, because you do not want to be holding this needle because it's so thin the heat will transfer straight down that to your fingers in a couple of seconds and you'll be running around your kitchen screaming, alright? So we don't want that. So we grab it in our little grips like that. If you've got a smaller pair, better still, any angle you like. Probably that's going to be a better angle for you guys to see. And what we want to do is we want to heat this needle up, and then we want to push that on the inside so you make sure you come out the base like that. So we're going to heat that up. And you just literally want to go through. You don't want a big hole, a small little tiny pinprick, that's all you need, okay? And then go inside, come through the base like that. That's all you want, okay guys? Tiny little pinprick like that. And then we just want another one, just about, you can see that one hole there, you want the other one just around there, about that, about, I don't know, about a centimetre apart, I would say. So you're going to just twist that round. And there you go. That's just come through that side again there, you see. My pliers are in it. Awesome condition, aren't they? Top of the range gear in Mark's shed. Right, we've got 2 little tiny pinpricks there now. Oh, sorry about that. And that's all you need. Now, what happens is, I'm just going to put this needle away, back on the shelf, get rid of that. Right guys, I'm completely out of hydrogen peroxide at the moment, but I'm going to go to the chemist and I'm going to pick some up. But before I do that, I'm just going to put it back together and I can tell you then what happens. You pop the lid. What we do, we get our little catalyst, which is a tiny little disc like that. Now the Oxydator company, obviously it's a patented formula that they've got in here, but they're normally ceramic and they've got other little bits and bobs in there as well, which slowly turns the hydrogen peroxide into the oxygen. So what we do, like I said before, if you watch the emergency oxygen one that I did, where I put in the potato, which has got the enzyme in it to turn hydrogen peroxide back into oxygen and water, okay, and create that pure oxygen for you in for your emergency tanks. If you haven't seen that one, go and watch it. It's quite an interesting little one. You put potato in there, and with the catalyst it's got in there, it turns it straight away. You could use it in there, but it's not. It doesn't last a long time. Where this just keeps on going. Okay, but the enzyme in the potato will turn the hydrogen peroxide in this into a lot of oxygen very quick, and you'll probably end up with a lot of bubbles coming out, and it's really defeating the object, because you do want a very, very slow release into your aquarium, so it lasts for quite some time. And the way this works is when you put that in like that. I don't know if you saw the first part of this video, but you can see when you've got that top on, you put the hydrogen peroxide in on top of that. Obviously fill it up, leave it about a centimetre from the top. We'll do that a bit later. Squeeze the top on, you invert that so the catalyst goes into the base, and what happens is you'll see thousands of tiny little bubbles going up inside this. Now what that does is that creates a pressure in this bubble at the top here, in that centimetre chamber that we've left. Now it creates a pressure in there, very, very slow, but then what that does is that pushes that hydrogen peroxide out in minute drips, okay, through these holes here. And then that will go into your aquarium, and as soon as hydrogen peroxide neat touches your water in your aquarium, it turns into oxygen, and you'll see it then going out and coming out of the side of the glass and into your aquarium. So if we push that in there now like that, you'll see the bubbles then going up inside, and then the bubbles coming out into your aquarium and putting oxygen into your aquarium, which is great for clarity. It does all sorts of little things. There's lots of trials, people have done lots of things on these. Do they work, don't they work? Personally, I don't know. And that's the honest truth. I mean, like you say, you can do as much studying on them as you like. Some people say they do this, they're good for getting rid of bacteria, they're good for getting rid of algae. Because of the oxygen in the water, it creates those conditions that algae doesn't like, so it won't grow. There's all kinds of things out there, but they're quite funky little gadgets. They do work. You know, they put the oxygen into the water, which is a good thing. And but what we're going to do now is go to I'm going to go to my local chemist. If you go to the chemist, you can buy hydrogen peroxide, but make sure you get it at 6%. okay, you can get all different percentages of hydrogen peroxide depending on what you're using it for, but I always go for the 6%, which I find is the best, and that's what they use in them in the proper ones as well, okay, in these guys. So they're the same. So we're going to get some hydrogen peroxide, we'll fill them up, we'll put them in a tank, and we'll press play and see what happens. Okay guys, I've just been down to the chemist, and would you believe it, they've run out of hydrogen peroxide. So I've ordered a gallon from eBay, which has cost me £10. That's all it's cost me for a whole gallon of 6% hydrogen peroxide. Check it out on eBay. And they say there's lots of things there. If you don't want a gallon, you just want a litre or 100ml, 500ml. There's all different types of measurements there you can buy, but I'm going to go for a gallon because of my koi pond and using it for treatments after potassium permanganate treatment. So I like to keep some on hand just in case I've got to do an emergency treatment. So there they are guys, they're both together, all finished up. I do apologise again for you guys, I thought I uploaded the other half but of when I put it together, but I completely edited that part out. So here's the second part. Now you know how to put them together. I'm going to wait till this till the hydrogen peroxide turns up. That should be Monday, and we'll put some in then, and we'll put it into the tanks in, and we'll watch them go. But until then, at least you can, if you guys wanted to make your own, you know how to do it now, and if you've got your hydrogen peroxide, you can beat me to it, and you can put them in your tank and watch them go. But don't forget, you need that little catalyst that goes in there, which you can also buy online, and you can buy replacements, but that is what you need. You've got to have that little catalyst that goes in there as well. So if you're going to save yourself a few quid guys, buy yourself a load of hydrogen peroxide for cheap. Go and get yourself some little jars. They don't have to be these spice jars or these little jars if you can't get them. All it's got to be is a little pot, you know, similar size, could be bigger, it could be a little bit smaller, with a little stopper on, and make it exactly the same way as I've done it here with those little grippy bits of airline around the side with the glue, so it holds itself in place, and you're good to go. Yeah, they turned out quite well, these guys. They did. We got our little shrimp on the front there, which we've carved on. That one goes well. You can see the way it hangs on the inside there and underneath. And we've got that little catalyst in there wobbling around. So all we need now is our 6% hydrogen peroxide. Put that in there. Our little bubbles then will start to form and rise like you saw in the first video, leaving that centimetre at the top, which is important. And then that will build up pressure in there, and then that will slowly weep that hydrogen peroxide out through the bottom, which will come out the bottom, come out the sides here and here, and all the way around, and your little streams of bubbles will then start coming up and oxygenate your tank. There you go. Anyway guys, I hope you like that little second part. Do apologise, like I said before, about not putting the first bit on where you can where we put these together, where I put it together. I completely forgot. But as always guys, you're all stars. If you're new to the channel, pop back and have a look at some of the other videos. Might encourage you to subscribe to the channel. And as always, love you all, you're all stars. Thanks for tuning in. We're up to 619 subs now, which is fantastic. Never thought I'd get that many in a million years, to be honest. But I really do appreciate it, and it's all down to you guys, okay? So thanks very much for that. I really do think the world of you all. See you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Take care, bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.